Hi, I've been playing around with these pinwheel barrettes since the last video, and I put together some pieces so I can save time while I'm recording. I also came up with a different option for you on cutting your triangles out of your ribbons. This is a little rotary mat from OFA. You can get them anywhere. But they also have a 45-degree angle on them. So I was thinking not only can you measure your ribbon using this, you can also cut your 45-degree angle. I hope you can see this. So let's just say, for example, I want to have a 3-inch strip of ribbon. So I go 1, 2, 3, and I make my cut. Okay, so I've got my cut. Now I want to make my triangle in there. So I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to see those two ends up there. I'm going to line that up. I'm going to make those 2 points go onto the, I don't know, I'm going to show you this closer up. I'm going to make those 2 points from that fold line up on my 45-degree angle, and I'm going to have the fold of my ribbon go along this 1-inch line so I can get an even cut. So I'm going to set that down. I'm going to hold my finger there, and I'm just going to follow the contour of the 45-degree angle. You get a perfect 45-degree cut on that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to turn it over, take my 2 points, squeeze my ribbon together, line it up along that line, and I'm going to make a cut without the use of a plastic ruler, and it works just as easy. So that's another option you have just by following the 45-degree angles on your cutting mat. But like I said, you can always just cut them manually and hope for the best. Okay, so I think where I was on this last one, I had already flashed these, and it's the same thing on these things. You're going to get that little tiny feel like there's a little lip there once you don't feel on a unsealed edge. So we'll try this again. Yeah. Okay, so that one's good to go. Alright, so my first step on here would be to fold this in half, and then fold it in half this way. Okay, so I know right there in the middle is where I want to put a little dab of glue, which I don't have. I know I'm repeating it, but I don't think I was very clear on the last video. Okay, so I got this in half. Okay, and I'm going to find my middle there. So I'm going to put a dab of glue on there. Just a little dab will do ya. Okay, I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to put a barrette in it. And then I'm going to come back to it later in a little bit when it gets a little chance to dry. Okay, so now that it's dry, I'm going to take one side and fold it down and put a little dab of glue and get that to dry. And now I'm going to take the other side, fold it down, put a little dab of glue, and let that dry. I know this seems like an awful lot, but when you're doing so many of them, you're just going to do them one at a time, and it goes real fast. It just seems like a long time because I'm doing a long time on this video. But anyway, I do it this way because it's so much easier to put them all together once they're all dry and in this shape. So we'll let that dry. Okay, the next step is once you have them all shaped, As far as these little ones, your top row, you're just going to be, this is only 3/8 of an inch. You only fold them in half. So once you have them folded in half, you can put all 3 of them together. You don't have to glue them again, because we're just going to wrap them up with a little piece of, we're going to line them up, get them in the right order, and get them all even. If it is easier for you, you can glue them also at this point. So I'll show you how to do that. It's the same thing. You're just going to take a little bit of glue, dab it, put number 2 on there, and make sure those 2 points line up. And if they're the same size, they will. This one isn't the same size, so that's going to happen, because you know it's hard to be perfect on these things. Okay, so this layer, let's see where this one will fit. Yep, let's put that back. Okay, are they lined up? Yes. Okay, another dab. And put the white one back on top. Line them all up. Put your clip back on. And give them a minute or so to dry. We'll do the same thing on the black ones. Okay, as far as your length of how you want to do your ribbons, it's totally up to you. You can make, like this one is a Christmas one I made. My white and my snowflake, they were almost exactly the same length. Then I added a red and a green one, and I made those the same length. And then for my top one, I just put the candy cane stripe in there, which was just a tiny bit smaller. So as far as the width of these, it's just whatever you like the look of. You can make them really small in the middle. You can make them. There's no rules on here. So this one is a lot smaller than the outside, and then the this one is smaller, and then this white one and the round circle ones are almost exactly the same. So it's however you like it. Another thing that's up to you too is how many layers you want to put. Do you want to put a three sections on top of another 3 section? For the shoes on this one, I did just 2 and 2, and I just cut a daisy off of the daisy chain. I just made a little cut right in the middle and cut the daisy off, and I just glued it on there, and that was all there was to that barrette. Okay, so now we have the white. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to secure this together, because we're going to squish this when we actually put these onto the barrette. So what I've been using is just some beading string. You can use quilting thread, you can use regular thread. It doesn't matter as long as it's strong. If you're going to use regular thread, wrap it around a few times. But if you're going to use beading thread or quilting thread, it's strong enough to stand on its own. So all I'm doing on here is just securing them, so even though I glued them together, this is just like a way of making sure that they don't ever come apart. So I'm just going to do a square knot in there, and then I'm just going to trim this string. Okay, and then I got my hot glue gun going, because I'm going to actually glue these together with hot glue. And the reason I'm doing that is because you need something stronger than the white glue to squish these down and hold them together. I mean, the white glue will do it if you do them one at a time. If you glue your layers on, well, it'll work regardless. But for the sake of the video, and that's how I do it anyway, I use the hot glue to actually put them together. Okay, so this one I have my black layer, black and white layer. So I'm going to line those up how I want them. So I'm not going to glue these ones this time. I'm just going to sew them together. I'm just going to put them together with the string. And you see how I did that? I put all my turns up are in the same direction, so that when they come together, they'll all be facing. They'll all be folded the same way, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. I didn't like the way that turned out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this, put all my up ends together, and see how I like that look. Okay. It is easier to glue them, I got to tell you. You know, that's why I'm saying it's so hard. You get so frustrated trying to line these up. When you saw how easy it was when I glued them together. So I'm going to glue them together again. Okay, so see how my turn-in is on the inside? I'm going to see which one is kind of the longest. Okay, this one is. So I'm going to take my glue again. Go back to the glue. It just works easier. You know, why make it hard on yourself? Just do it the easy way. Okay, so there's one down, and we'll put the other one down. I didn't, when I first started these, I tried holding them and tying them up at the same time. It was so hard. It was almost impossible, and I almost gave up completely. And I thought, well, why don't I see if I can glue them at the same time as I'm holding them to get them in the right shape that I want them. And it worked out better for me, so that's what I did. Okay, so I got that going, so let's just put a pin on that one. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that'll be ready to tie in a minute. Okay, so now I've got my pink ones, my biggest ones. These were, I think I made this one 3 inches. Yep, 3 inches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Yep, 3. Okay. So let's see how these will go together. See if I can just do them all at once. Okay, so let's try that. Okay. Oops, it came loose again. Yep, they're not lined up. One, 2, 3. Okay, close enough. Let's put a knot in this one. Okay. Cut it. Okay, so that's our bottom layer. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So move those around a little bit. Okay, so there's that one. This one hasn't been tied yet, so let me get a piece of string. I'm going to keep that together till I tie it. These ones are not the easiest ones, I gotta tell you. But they're kind of fun when you're just sitting here doing them. And it's pretty when you decide how to add all your different colors and what to add on them. Okay, so let's cut that. So there's this, I can put 3 layers on. Okay. Alright, so we've got our first layer, our second layer, and our third layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these together, and then I'm going to take a small piece of I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to use the white with the silver because I think that would look really nice, or even the black with the silver, and put that right through the middle as the center string to hold everything together. So I'm going to get my hot glue now. Okay, and I'm just going to put a dot on that. That was a little bit more than a dot. And you see why I don't like hot glue. Okay, so that's going to go right dead center. Don't worry if you get an overflow because you're going to cover it up anyway with the center ribbon. But it should be just a little dot. So if you have a little extra, get it out of there. Okay. And then I'm going to squeeze. And I want them sort of flat. Okay. So there's that. And then now the white. Maybe I can get a smaller little thing of just a little bit on the glue. Now the white, right in the middle. So while the hot glue is drying in there, firming up, you can move your ribbons around to whatever position you like them in at the same time before the glue gets hard. Because once the glue gets hard, it's over. Okay, they don't give you much time. Okay, so that's that one. Now I'm going to put the center in it. So I'm going to, I decided to go, I'm going to go black and silver. I think that would look pretty there. That's if I was going to not have the centerpiece on there, but I actually made this to put this ribbon in the middle. But that might be just a little too much for this. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's too much. Let's go with this black and silver. I think that would look nicer. Okay. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go in the back and I'm going to glue that there. That. And I'm going to come around the front. And I'm going to hold this down tight and pull this through so it has a tight fit. That's kind of pretty. There's a lady on here who does a real nice job showing you how to make these pinwheels. Probably much nicer than me. That's where I saw how to do these things. I forget her screen name though. Okay. And now we've got that. Oh, just like hot glue. Oh, I also found out that, remember I said in one of my videos that you can't curl the nylon ribbon? Well, I found out that you can curl the nylon ribbon because the silver ribbon that I put in these, this barrette, See how I've got the silver ribbon in there? That's got nylon in it. It's got a nylon content in it, which really surprised me because I hadn't been able to curl any ribbons with nylon. But it's 48% nylon, 52% metallic, and it actually holds the curl. I've made these months ago, and it still curls just real nice. So it actually does depend on the nylon content. I've tried, this won't curl, because this is 84% nylon. That won't curl. I tried another one that wouldn't curl either because it had too much nylon in it. And I think it was, that was 84, 90% nylon will not curl, and 85% won't curl. So, but if you get down in the 40s and 50% nylons, they will curl and they will hold their curl. So it's just the amount of nylon in them that will make the difference whether they stay curled or not. Okay, so now once we've got that, there's your pinwheel. You can decide whether or not you want to put some bling in there. You can cover it with something like this. Say there's a button that you really like, you can, this is clear, I wouldn't put this, but that you can just put a button on it. There's just so many things you can do. Let's just say you want to make this a bunny rabbit for Easter. Glue, but you can't fit the shank in, so just take a pair of wire cutters and cut the shank right off. And then you'll have a flat surface in order to hot glue it to your design. Like I would probably put this pink bunny on something like this for Easter, and then I would just hot glue the bunny like that, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my hot glue and put it on the bunny and glue it to this pinwheel. That will be that one. I can also move these around at the same time while the glue is still hot. Okay. Not a little too much in there. Okay, there you go. A little bunny on the, be cute with a little Easter dress. Alright, so that's it. That's the pinwheel. So now that that's done, you just take it and put it on whatever ribbon you made up. I had a white one made up. I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. So I would just take this now and I would glue this on the back of this. And that would be your a pinwheel. So that's pretty. But I made it for this, so I don't know. That might be a little. Yeah, I guess it'll be alright. Okay, let's try it. So what I did is I cut this off of the garland, and I sealed these two. I heat sealed these two little edges, and this is really, you know, bulky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hot glue down on here and press this down as hard as I can so it'll go flush. So if I was going to do that, I probably didn't need that, but it's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Too much glue again. My glue guns are really old. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should get a newer glue gun. I've had those for years and years. Maybe they make them better now. I don't know. Okay, so we got that. It is kind of pretty with that flower. But every time you add a layer, you're getting it thicker and thicker. So you might want to take that into consideration too. Because, you know, some of these will be too big for doll shoes. if that's what you're making them for, because you want them kind of small for the doll shoes. Oh, I was going to, that was a different one. I started up some red ones too. I was going to make some red ones and cut the shank off of this strawberry and add that to that. That'll be cute too. So, there we go. And we'll put that on this. Glue that on there, and that will be one of your barrettes. Might be a little too big for, yeah, see, you can't make these for the clogs, it's just too big. You're going to have to go with smaller. I wouldn't go bigger than a 2-inch ribbon for the doll shoes, because bigger than that, they just don't look good. How many inches is this one? Yeah, see, from here to here is 2 inches, and these are 2 inches. I wouldn't go bigger than 2 inches on the doll shoe clogs. And this is only 2 and 2, and that's it. So, anyway, okay, there you go. This will have to be a hair barrette. So, but it's cute. Alright, so that's the pinwheel. So, if you're going to use these big flowers too, you can get them in the bridal section. They have almost every single color now. And the same thing, you're going to leave that little, if you're going to use these flowers where I put this one, make sure you leave those, what do you call this? This wire around the bottom of the flower, and cut it right underneath the wire. And then that's what you're going to glue onto your whatever you're going to put it on, because you need that wire to keep the flower together, and then you can just glue that onto whatever design you're using. They have them in so many colors now, it's just amazing, and they're very pretty. So there's, even if you can't make your own flowers, you can buy these flowers, and they're pretty inexpensive, really, when you consider how pretty you can make things. Same with this one. If you're not good at making these flowers, you can still do these barrettes and come up with some beautiful designs. Okay, as far as the last barrette, I'll show you how to make, and that'll be the fabric one, and that's going to be these barrettes with the little bows on them, and the fabric, which is real simple. It's just a square of fabric. You don't even have to. This one I made into a bow, but I didn't have to, and this one was just sewed into a square. These are just your, I'll show you how to make this pearl flower with the circle of fabric, and that's just a circle of fabric. That's it. That's all there is to it. And then you put your flower on the inside. But I'll do that next time, because you can do that with something like this too, and get a really cute design. Yeah, I did a bad job on that, so I didn't use this one. But there's just too many options. There's just too many things you can do. So okay, I'll see you later. Talk to you next time.